Hello everyone, Ewan from Elixir Experts here. Today I'm going to show you how the retrospective longest path method of delay analysis actually works in action. I will discuss its reliability and dispute resolution in a follow-up to this video. Okay, let's get into it, and please like and subscribe if you like it. The retrospective longest path method of delay analysis provides for identifying the as-built critical path of the project and measuring any delay to activities on the as-built critical path against the corresponding plan dates in the as-planned program. Project records are then examined to ascertain what events might have caused the critical delay identified. I should highlight at this point that the as-built critical path is not the same as the actual critical path. The as-built critical path is determined at completion by tracing the longest continuous path back through the as-built program, whereas the actual critical path, perhaps more helpfully referred to as the contemporaneous critical path, determines the critical path at the time, recognizing that the critical path can and usually does change throughout a project. When the critical path is determined contemporaneously throughout the project duration, it represents a compilation of critical activities and is not a continuous sequence of work by itself. In order to demonstrate the technique in action, I've shown an as-planned program here for the construction of two buildings, Building 1 and Building 2, each comprising a substructure and superstructure. The start date is the 1st of January and completion is forecast to be achieved on the 31st of August. I've recorded the base details of the program in a table below to assess the impact of any delay events. The table shows the planned start date, the 1st of January, any critical delay, which is likely to be 0 in the as-planned program, and what is critical at the time of the analysis, the substructures of Building 1 and Building 2. In order to determine the as-built critical path, we need an as-built program, which I have plotted here, underneath the as-planned program. It is then necessary to identify the delays that occurred within the as-built program and add logic. Therefore, I have shown two delays that occurred, one from the 1st of May to the 30th of June, and one from the 1st of March to the 31st of March. The basic logic has also been added to each building between the substructure and superstructure and completion. This allows the retrospective longest path to be identified, which in this case runs through the Building 1 as-built sequence because it is the longest continuous sequence tracking back from completion to the start date. Delay to the as-built critical path is then measured by comparing the as-built dates with the corresponding plan dates in the as-planned program. So, the start of the Building 1 substructure commenced on the 1st of January as shown by point A in the as-built program. This corresponds to a planned start date of the 1st of January in the as-planned program. Since the dates are the same, there has been no delay at the 1st of January. The finish of the Building 1 substructure was achieved on the 30th of April as shown by point B in the as-built program, which corresponds to a planned finish date of the 30th of April in the as-planned program. Since the dates are the same, there has been no delay at the 30th of April. The start of the Building 1 superstructure commenced on the 1st of July as shown by point C in the as-built program, which corresponds to a planned start date of the 1st of May in the as-planned program. There is a difference in the dates of 61 days, meaning there has been a 61-day critical delay. The finish of the Building 1 superstructure was achieved on the 31st of October as shown by point D in the as-built program, which corresponds to a planned finish date of the 31st of August in the as-planned program. Since the difference in dates remains at 61 days, there is no further critical delay. However, is this right? it is evident that there was a delay from the 1st of March to the 31st of March to the Building 2 substructure, when both Buildings 1 and 2 had been progressing as planned. This delay occurred prior to the delay to the Building 1 superstructure, commencing in May and June, and would therefore have caused critical delay to Building 2 and not Building 1. To examine this more closely, we can look at the status of the project at the 1st of April. Here we can see that the Building 2 substructure had been and is critical, meaning that the 31-day delay to the Building 2 substructure would have caused a critical delay of 31 days, as shown by the difference in the as-built and as-planned programs for point A. Then moving forward to the 1st of July, after the second delay to the Building 1 superstructure in May and June, it is evident that the Building 1 superstructure had become critical. Whereas the second delay between the 1st of May and the 30th of June to the Building 1 superstructure lasted 61 days, it is evident that it only caused 30 days of critical delay. This is because, despite there being 61 days of critical delay overall, as shown between point B in the as-built and as-planned programs, there had already been a 31-day delay by the 1st of April, meaning there was only a further critical delay of 30 days arising from the Building 1 superstructure delay. I've also highlighted the critical path in the as-built section of the programme to show the critical path running through Building 2 before switching to Building 1 to illustrate where and when the critical delays occurred. Since the retrospective longest path method of delay analysis identifies the as-built critical path, i.e. standing at the end of the project and looking back, it does not show what was critical at the time and can mask delays. So in this example, the results of the retrospective longest path method of delay analysis have been shown to be unreliable, as it does not take account of what was critical at the time. That's it. I will leave it there and look out for the follow-up to this video, where I further discuss the reliability of the retrospective longest path method of delay analysis and what to look out for. Thank you very much and have a great day.